this view kind of changed around. I'm calling this a diamond front gatefold card. It's great to use up your 12 by 12 designer or pattern paper that's two-sided on it. So as we know, we collect and we love all of our paper and our crafting supplies, but sometimes we get a little too much in our Stampin' Stash. This is a great layout to use up some of that 12 by 12 paper. Plus, I think you're really going to have fun doing it, and you'll want to use all sorts of different themes, etc. as you get going. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and let you know what products that I'm using here today and get you some measurements. All right, here we go. So today I am featuring the Painterly Pears Suite Collection by Stampin' Up! This is what they call an online exclusive, meaning it's not in a catalog. Here's the different paper that's involved, or not involved, but included in that. And of course, you can get each of these separately. You don't have to purchase the whole suite. There's a look of how the corresponding dies. Got some fun embellishments. There's this two-tone ribbon. I'm trying to get my lighting to look a little better. And then there's the main color palettes of the cardstock. Okay, let me put that aside. All right. Hi, Deborah from Michigan. We're almost neighbors. Or I guess we are. We're state neighbors. So here's how this gatefold looks using our 12 by 12 designer paper that we're going to cut down. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the measurements up here on the screen. I know that everyone's been really liking that I've done this. I think this is my 4th or 5th video. So as you get going, you can always come back to the replay and you can screenshot this and then have it for your convenience. If you're on my newsletter, you'll be getting a recipe card for this, and it'll be a link to my blog. It'll be live later on today. All right, so there's that. I'll go ahead and get that removed. Okay, let's get started making this. It looks like it's so complicated, but it's super, super easy. Okay, before we get started on that though, I did want to, so here's the Perfectly Pear bundle. And like just kind of a little look at the paper the pattern that I'm using today. I was thinking about, like, if pears aren't your cup of tea, maybe it's about the sentiment that can go along with it. So I just did a quick Google search because I know that pears have meaning in the fall and in the holiday time. And depending on the culture that you're from, pears can stand for love and affection, grace and nobility, or comfort and health. And then I didn't put it on this one here, but also because pears are a fall harvest item, you know, pears are ready in the fall of the year, that a lot of time they're giftable for the holidays. And also pears are a huge, one of the symbols in the 12 Days of Christmas song too. So beyond just the fruit, the pears can have a lot of meaning, which, like comfort and appreciation, is why I think Stampin' Up! Probably did this as a friends type of stamp set. Okay, so just in case you're curious about the pears. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the actual craft part of our video here. Oops, let me do this. Nope, not that. There we go. I wanted you to see me in the corner. All right, so the actual card base, the backing of this is going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. And our designer paper is going to be 5 1/4 by 12. Again, it's two-sided. And ahead of time, I've scored it at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So basically 2 inches and 4 inches from either side. So 2, 4, 8, 10. Now it's just a matter of deciding what paper you want on the inside of the card. So the to me, the big reveal is the inside of the card. There's not too much, like if you want this pattern here, this will need to be your inside. Otherwise, you would have this darker one and you'd have just a little bit of this beautiful pattern. So for me, I'm going to choose to do this as the inside. Now for this fold, I definitely want you to have a bone folder handy, simply because we're going to want to really get those crisp edges and for it to line up. So here's the 4-inch side. I'm going to go ahead and fold that down first. And this is where I'm going to kind of push my paper inward. If you've ever made gatefolds before, you know sometimes the centers don't like to line up exactly perfect. And by kind of pushing that fold away from you with your bone folder, it really helps. Now I'm going to fold back that 2-inch line, or the 2-inch score line. And again, I'm going to match up the edges. And even though that's scored, I want to go ahead and take my bone folder and really push it towards the center. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This is the 8-inch. Here's my 8-inch. Did I not score an 8-inch? Oh, there it is. It's super light. Okay, same thing. Kind of take your bone folder and kind of push it towards the center. That little bit just really makes a difference. And then I'm going to fold this back, line up the edges, and even though it's scored, I'm going to push it towards the center. That little bit just helps it line up. Okay, so see, that's a nice togetherness. Okay, so that's a traditional gatefold, right? So here's where our fun comes with turning, with having this diamond look. We are actually going to turn down the corners on the 2-inch sections that are facing out and glue them down. So we're just going to take this, and actually why don't I go ahead and I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit. So bear with me while I kind of bring it down. I think that'll help a little bit. Okay, so I'm taking one of the corners, it doesn't matter which, and I'm folding it to the fold line. I'm just going to kind of finger press it, and now take my bone folder and do that. So when you have it closed, it looks like a little square. All right, so we're going to do that on all 4 corners. So just kind of bring it up to the score line so you can see where that's at. Bring it up to the I should say fold line. And you can finger press it and then use your bone folder. Okay, we'll do the other side. Grab the corner, go up to the fold line, finger press it, then bring your bone folder in, crisp edge, and the last one. Okay, bring it up to the score line. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And if you want to, at this point, if you wanted to, you could say, well, what does the other side look like? Everything's folded. You could just, you know, see if you like that side better. Okay, but I want the pears to be on the inside. So I'm going to do that. Okay, our next step is to glue everything down. Not everything, I should say. We're going to glue these corners down that we just folded back. So take your adhesive of choice. I'm going to use my liquid glue. And just on the corners only. We don't want to do anything here. We're just going to open up our corner flap and glue these down. So as I'm making these, because of the sentiments that are in this particular one, the stamp set, you know, I can, you know, think about which friend I want to give my little harvest pears to. And it's always kind of fun to think about who we're gifting these to. All right, so this is how we get this look. Super easy, right? Easy, easy. And it looks so complicated. It's like you think, oh, I've got to do some fancy scoring or whatever, but it's not. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get this down onto our backing. And again, I'm just using liquid glue. I've got Mossy Meadow in this example that we're doing here today. It's one of the colors. And again, that's a 5.5 by 4 1/4. And that's going to be our backing. See how when you open it up, I just love this pattern. Love it, love it. All right, that's the basic on how to do this. Now we're going to go ahead and like decorate the front. There's a couple of different options that you can do. One of the things that I did here is I continued on with this diamond look. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock. I like to tend to match the color of the card base that I'm using. So I've got Mossy Meadow. This is a 3 by 3 square. And then a petal pink of 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And let's just go ahead and glue those two pieces down right now, or glue those together. So we'll get just a nice matting. Again, please stick around to the end and I'll show you some different options that we can do. So what we want to do next is I just want to adhere the left back side of this piece here so that when we open it, there's no adhesive here on the right side. So we're going to turn it in a diamond shape, and then on the left back side, we're going to add some dimensionals. Now I'm just going to kind of do this as a point of reference. We're going to line it up in the middle, so we don't want any of our adhesive to go on the other half of it. So if you have a ruler or a straight edge of something and you just want to make sure that you stay within that realm, you can put something on it like that, just so that you stay, especially with, I'm using dimensionals to do this. Dimensionals are what Stampin' Up! Calls foam dots, dimensional foam dots. Add about 4. You add more if you'd like. So now when this is closed, I'm going to go ahead and you can use the center seam as the center of your points. And you can kind of eyeball this area here where the center is. So I'm just going to kind of close it, line up the points, line up the edges, and that looks good. If you notice the point here, like it's going to, this 3-inch, when you turn it on its diagonal, it's going to overhang a little bit, but it's going to line up with your outer edges. So that's the look that we want. So now when we open it up, we have that. Ahead of time, I've die cut out some of the elements from the Perfectly Pear bundle and everything, and I'll show you some of those that I did. We're going to do some stamping for the inside so that you can see how the stamp sets and everything work on it too. But ahead of time, what I did is I took those dies that we had seen in the sample. Oops, let me just show you those. So there's, of course, there's 6 different patterns. You get 2 of each design. And one of the pages, I just kind of cut out a little section of it. The leaf, the double pairs, and the large pairs, and this right here can all be die cut. And so I just wanted to kind of show you how that looks. So you can actually just die cut out the images. So I did that with 2 of the smaller double pairs on that. Some of the, like just the embellishments that you can use. Hopefully this is kind of freezing up a little bit, but with this you get this kind of interesting little background. Boy, my camera's really freezing up. I don't know if it's showing that up on your end. I did this with the new Darling Duckling. I did the leaf image out of the Mossy Meadow. And I've got an itty bitty little label that is out of Basic White. I'm going to put that in there on this so I don't lose it. Okay, let's put some of this together. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to adhere down our pear leaf. And let's see here. I think I want it to go this way. All right, let's see here. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna just add a, whoops, that's a glop. I'm gonna add a little glue. You could get out your sponges and other way of getting this, what do I want to say, glued up if you want. See if that's not too gloppy. I'm gonna close this up and kind of put this right in the middle. So I'm gonna put that, oops, shoot. I think I can sneak this under. I wanted my little crisscross to go under there first. I don't think it will matter. I'm just gonna kind of do a little bit. Can see if I can tuck this under. Just kind of gives an interesting little textured background. And now let's get our pears. Again, this was from the designer paper that I just die cut. What's nice about this is that you could sew fussy cut around this one if you wanted to. And I'm going to go ahead and put, I think, just 2 on here. Go ahead and do that. And we'll get these on the top. Ooh, I got glue everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put this here. I'm leaving this space open at the bottom for our sentiment. And I can kind of overlap that just a little bit so it's different heights. So cute. Whoops. I can't even see the, let me get this moved. I covered up my little texture thing. Oh well. All right. Here's what we wanted to do. Put that down and put the little crisscrossy thing down first and put it up a little high so that it's behind ours. I just totally covered that all up. So it's kind of a moot point. It's all good though. All right, so here's one of this little itty bitty label, which I love these little labels for these little sentiments. Look how tiny that is. In the stamp set, there's 2 of these that will fit. It's the friend and the hello. I'm using the hello today. And I'm using, here's the ink color palette that I'm using today. I've got Darling Duckling, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, Secret Sea, and Petal Pink. So those are all of the colors that are in there. And I'm going to use Secret Sea on the hello. So for this card, what I'm going to do is like show you both how you can use the die cut matching images, but then also show how you can build up this beautiful color on the stamped images. Okay, there's our hello. And I've got the smaller, the mini dimensionals. And let's go ahead and use that. Put 2 on. And we'll get that off. Okay, so there's our front of our card. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put a sentiment and our layering piece in here. So what I have for the inside, and again, I'm going to show you some different variations. You could do a whole complete matting layer, but again, I wanted to keep a lot of the designer paper to showcase that. So I have a piece of our cardstock color number 1, which is the backing here. This is 4 1/4 by 3. And then I have a layering piece of basic white at 4 by 2 3/4. Let's do some stamping, and we're going to make one of these pear images. All right, which one do I want to do first? I think I want to do, I always forget if I like to do that. I think I like the outline first. All right, so I'm going to do the outline in Pecan Pie. So I'm going to get that stamped up. So this is how you can use the stamp set. And that does the stamp itself does not connect. I don't know if you can see that. So they left that open here at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to take the outline of the pear leaf, and I'm going to come up here and get that stamped. Okay. And I think while I'm at it, I'm going to change things up just a little bit of how I did the other one. I'm going to stamp the sentiment up on top. A good friend is a gift. It says, hello, a good friend is a gift. Isn't that the truth? So you could just stop at the outline, but we're going to use the coordinating stamped images. This stamp set is what Stampin' Up! Calls a distinctive stamp set. What that means is you're going to get, I got this, my little ring light is showing there. You have highs and lows on the stamp itself. So when you go to ink it up, it's not going to be a solid look to it. I'm going to try a little different variation from my sample here. On my sample, I did start out with the Mossy Meadow and then added some color to it. I'm actually going to do a little reverse, and I'm going to start with the lighter color and then build my color around it, just so that you can see how you can get those variations. I'm going to start with Darling Duckling. I'm going to go. Okay, so I'm going to ink up the pear image. And of course, pears are green, and as they get ripe, they turn yellow. Okay, so you can kind of see how you can see the highs and lows on that, where it's a little darker here and a little lighter over there. I'm going to get the variations of my peach or my pear by using some daubers while it's on the stamp here. So I'm taking my green, and I want to have the green be over here where the ink is going to be a little more intense. So when I have this in this way, I'm doing it on the left side. I'm going to just daub some green tone. Okay, so I'm going to kind of build that up. And then another color in there's this petal pink. And I'm going to grab my pink and I'm going to add a little highlight, maybe right here in the middle. All right, so now I've kind of built my color palette on my pear. And I'm going to what they call huffing, which is I'm going to breathe on this to reactivate the ink. And I'm going to line it up, excuse my head here if I'm in the road. I think you can already kind of see the tones on it developing. And press. You can get your stamping mat, or like the foam mat underneath of it would probably help. Look at that beautiful color. So there you can see where I had the yellow undertone, and then I daubed some of the green and the pink on it. And now they have this real interesting little freckle. You know how like pears automatically kind of have those little brown spots on it. So I'm going to grab my pecan pie, and I've got these little dot doodads, and we can just kind of put those on the light area. So that's how, look how you can create that. That looks like a professional watercolor, I think. And these stamps with a little extra, daubing with our sponge daubers can really make a difference. All right, so again, I'm going to kind of do a little variation from what I did before, where I had a lot of the green background. As we know, when leaves start to turn, they kind of turn yellow-green. So I'm going to start with my Darling Duckling again and get my Mossy Meadow and my dauber that I use for my green. And we're going to go ahead and kind of go around the edges just a little bit. And I actually have my, this is Early Espresso marker, and I want my stem to have a little brown. You could leave it green if you wanted to, but I'm just coming over that. Again, I'm going to breathe on it, huff it, to activate any of those colors that need to be, and line it up with my outline and press. So there's the pear. What do you think? Have you played around with this stamp set yet? Look how pretty that is. And if you wanted to, you can come in. I wanted to show you this too. I like to do the coloring for the different tones while it's on the stamp. But if you want to, you can come back in afterwards and maybe add a little more with the, I like the dauber on this because it's a little more controlled than the blending brush. But you can come in and add a little more color on top of it if you want to. Okay, let's put that away and we will finish up this card. So excited to show you some of the other ones too. All right, so again, I'm gonna just glue this together. You can use whatever adhesive that you'd like. And we'll bring in our card again that we've done. And this is going to go right in the center. I like how this is a little smaller layer on there so that you can really see this beautiful paper. So if you really want to showcase your paper, there we go. All right, so part of this suite is this beautiful ribbon. I don't know if you can see it. It's got gold. It's got, you know, 2 tones of green on it, or like the gold. It actually looks 2-tone because one side's got more of the gold on it. And then we've got that mossy meadow. And I'm going to get I'm going to actually put a ribbon on the inside. Yes, on the inside of the card. I like exploring different ways of using our embellishments. Especially if you're like, you can put this on the inside. Look how cute that is. It's so pretty. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Trying to see the sparkle on it. I can see it on my screen. It doesn't seem like it's showing up that well on the camera. And then I'm going to get the coordinating gems. These are the low profile sparkle dots. It's part of that suite where we have the Secret Sea, we've got the Mossy Meadow, and we have the Darling Duckling. So let's add some gems. So I'm going to pull out the Darling Duckling on here. I'm going to get 3 of them on the front. Wherever you want to put those on there. And then on the inside, we can pull out some of the darker tones if we want. I'm going to grab the Secret Sea. Just kind of use all 3 colors. All right. And then for this one, what I would do, oh, hi, Joan. Yes, Joan, sorry about that. What I would do, and I had this on the screen let me pull up this again. So let me pull up the optional white cardstock on the back of the card. You could go ahead and do a 5 1/4 by 4 if you wanted to do some more writing other than just like a quick hello on the front. Whoops. Clicked my mouse. There we go. So that's the card. Look how pretty that is. So that's how we can do the diamond fancy gatefold card using our designer paper. All right, let me show you some of the other creations that I made using the same layout, kind of with fall in mind as we go forward. At the time of the video, it's it's late July, and so, or mid July, and so we're kind of maybe starting to think about our fall cards. Here's a Halloween card made with the Sweet and Spooky suite of products. And then here's what I did on this one. I just made another like layering square. This is 2 3/4 is the outer one, and 2.5 by 2.5. Did my stamping on here, and then that fits just perfectly on the inside of this 4-inch section. So again, this square started out at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Again, I would put a white backing on for any writing and just leave this, because I think this would, it does sit up so cute. And then like it kind of would look like this when it's sitting up on somebody's counter or their mantle or wherever it is. But that's how, if you wanted to do like a diamond and diamond look on it. Here's one that I did. Here's like our three, started with my 3 by 3, but then I just added another type of label to it. This label is from, and the sentiments are from Label Me Grateful. Get this nice big label and some nice, fall and leaf patterns on it. So I just picked the paper from Floral Charm, but I switched out which stamp set that I used. And then here's where you can see you could have just a nice big layering rectangle on the inside. This would be a 5 by 3 3/4. I don't believe I have that on there. But so this way you could write more right on the outside of it. Okay, so that, and I just kind of wanted to show you one more time, like here's just a couple of different color variations. This is the one we made today with a little more yellow in it. Okay, let me turn the camera around for both of these here. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this fancy diamond gatefold card out of our 12 by 12 paper. I would love it if you would give this a try. Please let me know in the comments that you did. If you want, you can head on over to my Facebook page, and you can, well, actually, if you want to message me on Facebook and share your creation, I can share them with the group. They're over on my Create with Dee Facebook page as well. If there's anything in this video that you liked, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up, leave a comment. And if you, I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you have a video that you really like, you can save your video. You can start like a saved file on YouTube and then easily go back and reference it. So like, for example, you might want to start saved videos that are called fun folds. And so this is where you could save my video and others that you find. That way, when you want to go back and reference them real quick, you can just go to your YouTube list and go to your fun folds. So a little tip in case you're not aware that you can do that. All right, everybody, have a great day and happy crafting. Bye-bye.